going to be cooking Spanish rice in the kitchen. Now, this is a very traditional dish to Mexican cooking, so that's why I thought it appropriate to be one of the first dishes that I teach you how to cook. The first thing we're going to do is add some tomatoes to the blender, and I'm going to have Farron do that for me. Good job, Farron. Oh, you got one more. Oh, there you go. Okay. I'm also going to add a few pieces of white onion to the blender. I'll go ahead and do that for you, Farron. And then 3 small pieces of garlic. If you have a larger piece of garlic, then you can eliminate some of that. Now, the next thing we're going to do is add a little bit of water to our blender. I would say that that was about 1/4 of a cup. And then we're going to add 2 tomato chicken bouillon cubes. Now, these can be found in the specialty aisle where they have the international food. And I use these quite a bit with Hispanic cooking. Go ahead and put those in the blender. Now we're going to go ahead and turn this on and blend it. Go ahead, Farron, let's see. Go ahead and push this button. Now sometimes it looks like my blender is not properly loaded. So just 1 second. Somebody, probably one of my kids, was working. Okay, here we go. Okay, go ahead, Farron, push the button. Kind of loud. Now we blend that. You probably can't hear me over the blender, so we blend that for just a minute until everything is blended in nicely. Now I'm going to step over here, Farron, you stay there. I'm going to step over here and turn my stove on medium heat. And I have a little bit of olive oil here that I'm going to sprinkle in my pan. Now I would say that that's probably about 4 tablespoons of olive oil. I prefer to use olive oil because it's healthier and we're trying to be a little more health conscious in our family. So after I do that and I've got my heat on, I'm going to put a cup of rice into my pan. And then let me get out something to stir it with. And I'm going to go ahead and brown that rice until it's a nice golden brown. Now, typically, that's going to take a few minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and let that sit there for just a minute. And I will come right back. Browning, we're going to go ahead and peel a carrot. Now, I like to add carrots and potato to my rice. It gets a little more vegetables for your kids, and it's a neat little way to sneak in some more healthy food into your meal. My husband's mother sometimes puts carrots and potatoes in hers, and that's where I got the idea from. And it's worked out really well. My kids always enjoy it. They eat it without complaining, and so it's all good for me. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly do this now. You probably don't want to have your kids do the cutting with the big knives when they're only 5. So I will go ahead and do that. Now I have to tell you something funny. Farron does an extremely good impersonation of Nacho Libre. So do you want to share with him it is so funny. Can you do the scene where Nacho is talking to Chancho?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and do it for everyone. Just tell the camera right there. Tell them and talk loud so they can hear you.
No.
You don't feel like doing it right now? He is so hilarious. The other night we had a talent show in our neighborhood, and he and his friends all did little performances, and one of the performances he did was he laid down and he put his head upside down and put eyeballs on his chin so that his face was upside down, and he reenacted part of Nacho Libre, and it was so hilarious. All the neighbors were laughing. You sure you don't want to do it?
No, because it was embarrassing.
It was embarrassing. Why was it embarrassing?
Because everybody could see me when I walk out.
They could? Okay, now I'm adding some potatoes. Now today I just happen to have red potatoes in my cupboard. So I'm going to get about 2 red potatoes and dice them up. Farron, let's not do it this time, okay, bud? Here, you set that knife down because that could get very dangerous. And let me just step over here and check on my rice. Now my rice, it's starting to brown up, which is what I want it to do. Now you may say to yourself, why do you do that? You know, I asked my husband this because it's very traditional in making the Spanish rice, and he said that it just brings out a lot of the flavors in the grain, and I tend to believe that after doing this both ways. I found that it tastes much better when you do it this way. Now I'm just going to turn the heat down just a little bit, and next we're going to get our tomato sauce that we just made. Now remember, that was the tomatoes, the onions, the bouillon cubes, and the garlic. And I'm going to pour it in to the rice. Now, it's typical that it's going to splash a little bit, so you want to stand back. And it looks like I need a little bit more water, so I'm going to go ahead and get some more water. I would say about 1.5 cups of water that I'm going to add to that. And I'm going to leave the heat on probably 6.5, 7 on the stove. So that would be a medium-high, medium heat. Now I'm going to just stir that around a little bit. Come over here, and I'm going to get my potatoes that I've diced up and my carrots, and I'm going to put them in the pan. I'm going to put them in the pan. Now I have to tell you, you know, we're very amateur here. My 13-year-old son is videotaping this, so we can't expect it to be perfect. But this isn't the Food Network, so we're all good, right? Now I'm just going to leave that, and I'm going to let it simmer. Now usually about 5 or 10 minutes from now, I'm going to add some more water to it. So we will let it sit there for a minute, and then I will be right back. We're back, and we're going to add a little bit more water. I've got about 1.5 cups of water here, and our water has evaporated, and the rice still is cooking, and so we need about 1.5 cups more water, and that's going to go for another 5 or so minutes. And then we will come back and we'll see the finished product. Minutes, and the rice is ready. So we're going to go ahead and take it off the stove. And I did want to show it to you so you can kind of get an idea what it looks like. But you can see the potatoes and the carrots there, and it's fully cooked. So I want to give Farron a little sample of this, and I'll have a sample too. And we'll see how it turned out. Now, this is real live videotaping here, so Farron will definitely tell us if he likes it or not. Now, wait just a minute, Farron, because it's hot. And I'll just get myself some. And we'll set the pan back there.
Are you going to turn it off?
Yeah, I turned it off. It's off now. And we will sample. So go ahead and get up on your stool. And you're going to have to blow on it. And let's see how it turned out. Looks like the potatoes are cooked. They're nice and tender. Good flavor. Let's get it from the expert. Is it good? Okay, you got it from the kid's mouth. This is a great recipe. We will be back in the next episode, and we will do some more Mexican cooking. But until then, we want to tell you to get in the kitchen and cook for the Mexican in your life. We'll see ya.